And we'll just start out kind of chatting a little bit.
Yes, we'll let folks populate the video. We'll talk for a couple seconds. How's your morning so far?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm getting ready to go to Charleston today, so I'm packing and getting ready to go take care of my dad who had surgery this week, and then I'll be on the road.
So Vivian, do you go to Charleston a lot because of your restaurants there? Are you there all the time, or?
About 5 days a month in Charleston.
Okay.
And it's a lot less than it was in the beginning, but
sure. Do you have a place where you stay there?
I did. I rented like a little carriage house, but now I just stay in the hotel. It's much easier, and I feel like the hotel had rented the carriage house for me, and so that made me feel as if I needed to be there a whole lot. And so now that I stay in the hotel, it's less like I feel a responsibility to do that.
Sure, that makes perfect sense. And it sounds like you've got the right people in place in your restaurants there, and so you can just be there when it works.
Yeah. I mean, I go and make menu changes and do tastings and then work the floor and all of that. But I have a great team down there, so
that has to feel so good.
It does. And actually, my nephew, who's like 22, 23, he moved down there and is like the head barista at Handy and Hot. And it has been a really good experience for him.
That is so cool.
Where I go.
That's so awesome. I love that. I love that the family seems to permeate everything that you do, which I think is amazing.
Yes. Well, they know that it's generally going to be fun. So.
What a great thing. I don't think my family would ever say that about me, Vivian.
What if Sally came to work with us? Oh my gosh.
They're like, oh, yeah, that's exactly right.
Fun. I'm the wild card. So
I love that. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are so excited because we have Vivian Howard here with us. And if you're from Carteret County and you haven't already heard the news, there is a lot to celebrate. So we will get to that, but let's kind of start with who Vivian is. Just in case you've been living under a rock, then you may not know, but Vivian has got her hands in all sorts of things. And it seems like everything that she touches turns to gold, and that she wins an award, and is just, I don't know what to say, you guys, super, super talented and super kind. So we're really happy to have her here. Vivian, of course, first of all, is a wife and a mother. She has twins. She is a chef. She's an incredible chef, which is really kind of where all this started, Vivian, right? She has got several restaurants now. Of course, you guys are familiar with the Chef and the Farmer in Kinston. And then she has Handy and Hot and Lenore in Charleston. And then she also has Benny's Big Time Pizzeria in Wilmington. She also is a cookbook author. She has 2 cookbooks. This Will Make It Taste Good. And she also has Deep Run Roots. And then she also is a writer. So Vivian has written all sorts of things. One of the places that I love to read what she writes is her column.
Yes.
That is in Garden and Gun, and that is called Country Accent. So that's a great way you can catch up with her. And then finally, of course, there is TV. So that's exactly right. You've got a chef's life. And then Vivian, I know that you've got Somewhere South, which was, I guess, that was 6 parts that really dove into a dish for each episode. Is that right? That was also kind of a southern dish with each one.
Yes, Summer South debuted March of 2020. So, we were all like at home, and it was a 6-part series on PBS that really showed how the American South is really a microcosm of the rest of the nation, and that our food culture is always evolving. And we looked at that using a dish that every culture shares. So there was a barbecue episode and a hand pie episode, a porridge episode, a greens episode. And that series was really, really fun for me. And I felt like a student again. And I learned a whole lot.
That's so cool.
So essentially, everyone, if you haven't picked up by now, we're in the presence of a celebrity. So that's how I feel. I woke up this morning. I was like, we get to talk to Vivian.
That's exactly right.
There's a celebrity right there.
That's exactly right. Hey, Tina.
Oh my gosh. And Vivian, before we kind of move forward to what's coming up in Carteret County and these new ventures, I just have to say, I'm not sure if you were there, but I guess it was a couple years ago, our team took a party bus to Chef and the Farmer from Morehead City to Kinston. And it was kind of our we reached a big milestone and a big goal for the year. And that was our celebration, was going to your restaurant and enjoying it as a
And that was what
team.
everybody wanted. I mean, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
when we get here, guys, we're going to Chef and the Farmer.
And we had it on our goals sheet, and the end of the goal sheet was Chef and the Farmer. That's all it said. So we would always say Chef and the Farmer, Chef and the Farmer. So yeah,
That's exactly right.
That was our first, my first experience there, and it was lovely. So it's one of our faves now.
And so Vivian, let's start there before we get into kind of the Carteret County piece, because so much of Carteret County does travel to Kinston to eat at Chef and the Farmer. People come from all over. And I know right now there are some things that are happening there. Can you fill us in on what's next at Chef and the Farmer?
Yes, so we, after 16 years, we closed Chef and the Farmer at the beginning of the summer to renovate, reimagine, reevaluate the type of restaurant that we have. And the goal is to reopen in late fall and reopen the type of restaurant that I would open today. A restaurant in Kinston, because I am. So, you know, a lot changes in 16 years in terms of, you know, what we enjoy, the way that we want to dine out. And, you know, in the last 16 years, I've had children. They're both 11 now, and eating out with them is a big part of what I do. So this new version of Chef and the Farmer will be more family friendly.
Okay.
Will have a greater variety, but also be really rooted in regional cuisine and ingredients. And overall, I want it to be fun and bright, and just feel like a place where you want to hang out.
I think that is so exciting. I think that's so wonderful. And I love, it feels like, you said earlier about you being a student and having that feeling when you were filming, you know, your most recent show in 2020, but just that it feels like that throughout this, that I can't imagine how much you learn every time you open a new restaurant, or every time you participate in something new, or write an article, Vivian. I mean, there's a learning process that goes through that. And I think it's so cool to stop and say, wait a minute, this isn't exactly what I would do anymore. And so let's stop and reimagine it. I think that takes a lot of guts. And I think that's exciting. And I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to reap the benefits of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Chef and the Farmer is such a special, I mean, it's a piece of North Carolina history. It's, you know, every fourth grade textbook in the state as an example of the way that food and beverage can transform a community. And so I'm so proud of what we did there. But as a creative, I've found in my life, like, I really like, as I evolve, my work has to evolve for me to really be invested in it. And so I'm excited to have this opportunity to reimagine Chef and the Farmer. And I think the community and Eastern North Carolina as a whole will enjoy it.
That's awesome. And I feel like that's an example for anyone, even if they're not in the restaurant industry, to like, it's okay to take a look at your business or what you're doing and pivot if it's not serving you anymore. And not saying that it's not serving you anymore, but if, you know, it's
keeping up exactly what you would envision now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really neat.
That is a really good lesson. And I think that's such a great point, Vivian, about how the impact that Chef and the Farmer has had on the revitalization of Kinston and on this. I mean, it's really Eastern North Carolina, because I can't imagine, I don't know if you guys have ever run demographics, but where folks come from to eat there, because I know it's all over, and I know it's specifically all over Eastern North Carolina. I mean, people will hop in their car in a minute and drive there to eat.
Yep.
And, you know, in Carteret County, the summer has generally been our busiest time at Chef and the Farmer, because we get so many people traveling from out of state to our beaches. Sure. And night, you know, their vacation, driving west, I guess, if you Chef and the Farmer. So we have drawn people from all over the country for the last 7 or so years since A Chef's Life started. And that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to, like, give it some new life, because it's like a pilgrimage people take, and they've seen this thing on TV, and they have all of these expectations wrapped up in the experience that they're going to have. And I just wanted to match their expectations. So we're working on that.
We're excited. I know, that's really neat. I love hearing the background of that. So Vivian, let's get to kind of the big news for Carteret County, which is that you have this new concept that you're bringing to life that is Viv's Fridge. And I know there is already one that's been installed in Bald Head Island, meeting rave reviews, and we are getting one in Emerald Isle.
Woo-hoo.
So exciting. And I think what we'd all love to know is, number one, what made you choose Emerald Isle? And number two, can you kind of tell us a little bit about the concept behind it?
Yes. So the reason I chose Emerald Isle is because I grew up about an hour from Emerald Isle, and my family were tobacco farmers. And so until I was about 18, we never even went to the beach. Summer was about working. And then when I was in college, we started renting a beach house in Emerald Isle on Coast Guard Road every year for 1 week. And it just became our family tradition. And I approached every family vacation as like a long catering event. I would like pack all the meals and pack a week ahead of time and like go down there and cook and clean and cook and clean. And I really enjoyed that for a while. But then eventually I was like, gosh, I wish there was something to eat. I wish I could like go out and just grab something and heat it up. And, every year we would get pizza one night, and then we would go out for fried seafood one night. And then, there's this night where we wanted to have something nice, but I didn't necessarily want to do dishes forever. And so Viv's Fridge is kind of born out of that. And I chose Emerald Isle because I feel like I understand that market as it relates to, vacationing and the needs there related to eating and access. So I also know that like when you get over that bridge, you really don't want to go back over the bridge.
Yeah.
About meeting people on vacation where they're at. And basically Viv's Fridge is a smart fridge extension of Chef and the Farmer. So we have meals and snacks and sides and desserts in there for prepared for 4 people essentially. So we have our famous tomato pie. We have a really awesome braised short rib dinner. So it's short ribs of beef that are braised in a red curry watermelon sauce. And it comes with banana leaf packages of coconut rice grits, and then ginger cabbage. All of that comes in one kit that you just put it in the oven. And then you have like a meal that is exceptional, and that it feels as if you could have gotten it at the restaurant at Chef and the Farmer. And so that's what we're trying to do with Viv's Fridge, like offer an elevated dining experience at home that's really dishless and delicious and elevated. And also it's a great thing, like if you're going to someone's house, we have our 10-layer chocolate cake in there. You can everyone's gonna be happy when you show up.
Oh my gosh. And this is just, it just sounds so what it sounds like to me is you've got something from every category. It's super curated. You can go online and look at what the list is. And then when you get there, Vivian, basically you swipe your credit card and you open it and it's weighted. So you can pull things out and look at them, right? And kind of decide what you want, and then put back, pull things out, look at them, pull out what you want. And then when you close the door, then you're done, right? And that charge shows up on your card.
Yes. So you just swipe your card. It's like a giant mini bar, and swiping your card allows you to access it. And you take out, and then like that is in your hands when the door closes is yours. But while the door's open, you can pick things up and look all around. And the thing that is really exciting for me about this is, and I think for other people will be, when you realize that it's 24/7. I don't know if y'all have ever been on a vacation and you've got like nieces or nephews and they're in their 20s and they come in at 10 and they're like, I'm hungry. And you're like, well,
yeah.
So
yeah.
This is kind of meant to solve that problem too. And so I'm really excited about the fact that they're 24/7. I think that we're offering something that is not in the market. It's totally new. And I think it works in terms of the consumer, but also it works for restaurants like Chef and the Farmer that have like a service footprint. Much of our square footage is in dining room. And so this allows us to make better use of our kitchen, which is where all of our, highly specialized equipment is. It's where our skill level is. And so it allows us to use our kitchen in off hours to generate revenue. Rather than just being able to generate revenue when people are sitting in our restaurant.
That makes so much sense. That is so smart.
Now, Vivian, where exactly in Emerald Isle is this located?
Okay, so It is going to be right over the bridge in front of the Emerald Isle Wine Market. You know, there's that wine market, but also a convenience store.
Yes.
And there's a lot of action right there.
Yeah.
And I grew up stopping at that market for any number of things. So that was like the first place I thought of. We're also in the early stages of planning one that will probably land also early August in Morehead City and Hampstead. So we have 3 more fridges that just arrived. And so we're waiting on the technology that makes them the smart fridge.
Okay.
And we're going to have a little route with Emerald Isle, Morehead City, and Hampstead.
Did we just get breaking news
That is
on Coffee
so
with MC?
cool. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
To be, I have not found a location for either of those, but I don't think it'll be hard.
I don't think so either.
No,
That's so
and look, if
exciting.
we can help you with that, I mean, I've got some space right outside of Morehead Drive. I'm just saying that we got options, Vivian. We got options. That is so amazing. And one of the things I also love about that is in keeping with your "This will make it taste good" cookbook. You've also got one of the options I saw online was like a compound butter and a relish. So like if you want to cook and if you have a request for some dish that your family loves, but you want to jazz it up and make it super delicious, then what a great option.
Yes, that's called make blank better. So it's like, you know, a lot of times you'll go and grab a steak or a piece of chicken and grill it. And it's like, this is great, but it could be so much better.
Right.
And so this make blank better is a charred red onion and cucumber relish. That's great as a condiment on any piece of like roasted meat or even grilled vegetables. And then a little green dress compound butter that you can melt on top of that. It would also be great with just like a baked potato. So yeah, it's like,
this sounds so good. I am so excited that we're getting one.
I know. Yay.
That makes me so excited because, you know, just like in Emerald Isle, once you get over there, you don't want to cross over the bridge. You know, the Morehead folks, we're the same way. We're like, oh, it's over the bridge. Now that would totally be worth it.
Yes, but the distance between Morehead and Emerald Isle feels like hours.
It really does. It does. It does. So I think that's so strategic and smart to have both of those options. This is so exciting.
Out this is that if we put it somewhere and it doesn't work, we can move it. You know, it's not like a restaurant that you have to just dismantle all your systems and like, you know, it's just, there's a lot of flexibility and nimbleness that I've never experienced in a business before that we're able to kind of navigate with this.
That's awesome. And I'm sure a lot of folks will see this and be like, I want to do a smart fridge. I mean, you're probably starting like a whole trend.
My hope is to scale it in a way that that looks at service-driven restaurants like Chef and the Farmer, like Pool's Diner, like Carteret, like Crawford and Sons, restaurants that have a large service footprint, but really have a culinary reputation that is known far and wide. And so to scale it, so kind of franchise it, so sell a Viv's Fridge, Pool's Diner to go to be at Farrington Village, or a Garland to go at Pinehurst, or a Carteret to go at Grandfather Mountain Country Club. So as a means, it won't all be my food. It'll be these restaurants' food, but it'll be under the Viv's Fridge brand, which will stand for highly curated quality is the goal.
Man, this is so cool. I feel really, I mean, not only am I excited for us, but I also just feel it's really inspiring, I think, Vivian, to listen to from a business standpoint. I mean, you know, because, you know, we run a business. And so to think about, you know, what does that look like and how do you innovate and how do you consider all the different things that go into it in terms of providing an experience for people that is consistent with your brand, right? But I love the concept of it being in a way that is different and that meets them where they are. And also I think the fact that it is nimble and that you are going to be able to make changes is such a cool thing. Because when you think about building a brick and mortar, I mean, that is, you're making a commitment, right? But in order to really maximize the investments that you've already made, both in people, equipment, location, all those things, and to provide the experience to more people, that's just such a cool concept.
It really is.
So,
yeah. I feel like, you know, most industries are constantly evolving and self-assessing and saying, you know, this isn't working. This is why we're not making money. But I feel like the restaurant industry has not really evolved in centuries. And if you look at a restaurant like Chef and the Farmer, it's like a doctor's office where there are doctors and nurses and lab techs and front desk people working all day long and getting paid, but you're not bringing in any revenue except for about 4 hours of that day. So we have to look at restaurants like doctor's offices, and how can we be generating revenue all day long when people are in there working. And so this is, I think, one solution for that, because it's no mystery that restaurants are kind of difficult places to work. And they're really struggling to find staff. And part of that is because people decide at some point that they don't want to work at night. They want to have like a normal life. They want to be able to have kids and take their kids to school and do all that. And I've lost so many talented cooks over the years for that reason. If I could give them more daytime hours, then they would possibly be in my organization and in my talent pool for much, much longer. So that is what I'm hoping that Viv's Fridge can address in some way.
That's really neat.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yay.
This has been so awesome.
Yeah.
I think I have like a million questions now, but I know that you've also got 1 million things to do, including visiting your dad and heading to Charleston. So thank you for being here with us, Vivian. And once you have an idea about the Moorhead location, will you send us a little smoke signal?
Yes, and I may even just ask you where I should put it. So
we have a team of 27 women who
we'll get right on that.
All just really give you.
We will get right on that.
Yeah, some great locations.
Right. That's right. Thank you. So Meg, will you ask Vivian our final question?
I sure will. Vivian, we ask all of our guests this question before we log off, and we're curious, what has been saving your life lately?
What has been saving my life? Well, I would say since December, my little French bulldog, Tina. I got her for myself for Christmas. Everybody was like, dog? I'm like, no, I got her for myself.
I love that. Big fan of buying yourself. Yes, love that. Yeah.
Be everywhere, and she's so snuggly, and just, I don't know. I've never been a dog's person before. I've had dogs, but they always had another person, but Tina is mine. And I'm hers.
I can, and the thing is, it's so funny. I can totally relate to that. We have always have golden retrievers, and so we have our third golden retriever. Love him, Mac, and he is Chips. He is not my dog, but now we have a little miniature Bernedoodle, Buddha, who is. I mean, I will say, Chips a little bit taking him over too, which is really ticking me off. Yeah. But in general, I've never had a dog that even for a third of the time thought I was their person. So I can totally relate to that. It's so great. Now, can you take her to Charleston?
Yes, it did. And that's what it took. It took like lots of isolation with me for her to be mine, because so yeah, like one-on-one trips is what you need.
That's exactly right. Bonding time. That's exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you, Vivian. Drive safely today. And thank you so much for being here with us. We are so excited to have you in Carteret County. We're excited for what's to come.
I'm excited.
Bye. How do you feel? I feel like we just talked with a legit celebrity.
Well, she is. Yeah, well, she absolutely is. And she just is obviously super duper smart.
Yeah.
Also just really kind and innovative and inspirational. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel amped.
I do too.
I feel excited about my wheels are turning about. It's fun to be around somebody who, to talk to somebody who is willing to examine and innovate. And I think that really gets me pumped.
Yeah. And I really think I feel pumped up too. And I think one of the reasons behind it is whenever you're talking to someone who maybe it's an entrepreneur, someone who owns a business, and like, you can tell they light up when they talk about it, that's contagious. And I could tell every time she was talking about even Chef and the Farmer, new things that are coming. I don't know. I just loved how passionate she is about it. And she's obviously a very smart business person as well.
But I think you're right. I think when somebody really taps into their gift and what they're supposed to be doing, and then they that's really, really cool. Love that.
So fun.
That was really fun. Okay. So what is saving your life?
Well, last Friday, we got to hang out with Jordan. So for those of you who remember, Jordan's been on here twice, maybe. He's our business coach, lives in Kansas, and he came to the East Coast for the weekend he had a conference that he put on, and then he came and hung out with some of our team members here at the Coral Bay Club.
That's
So
exactly
we got
right.
to hang out with him, and it was a great experience. So it's always a good like recharge to see him in
And
person.
I think you're right. And you know what? That just reminded me, I had another thing that was saving my life, but I think what I'm going to do instead is read to you guys.
Yes.
You know, there is one of the things that we talk about a lot is a personal vision. And I think this really fits so well with the conversation we just had with Vivian, right? So that we were talking about her business vision, but to be sure, it coincides with her personal vision. And so Jordan sent this out, which I thought was so cool, about when you think about what your personal vision is for your life. This is the quote. A personal vision is a glimpse or description of a world we long to live inside of, yet don't right now. It is a world that is both seen and unseen. It is seen in our mind's eye and felt deeply in our hearts. We attempt to use words to describe it, but they don't do it justice. It is unseen by those around us, and yet when it plants itself in our souls, we are forever called to explore it. Faith is its fertilizer. Who you become in its pursuit can never be taken from you. It's yours forever.
Goosebumps.
Isn't that good? And I just think that's so neat to think about, what is your personal vision for your life? And I think the concept of faith getting you there, but I think also the fact that I love who you become in its pursuit can never be taken from you.
That makes me think of the happiness is the means and the end.
That's exactly right.
It's the whole journey that,
that's right.
builds
So
you.
so it's not about creating a personal vision so that when you get there, you'll be happy.
Yeah.
It's about creating a personal vision so that on the way, you can enjoy the ride and develop into who you're supposed to be.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jordan.
Okay, you guys, happy Friday. Thank you for joining us. Everybody have a great weekend.
Bye,
Thanks,
y'all.
Meg. Bye, guys.